Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Finfine News Network, and I'm your host, Daniel Ababa. And today I bring you a distressing story that exposes the horrifying military crimes committed by the Ethiopian Defense Forces in Oromia State. Around the end of June, a shocking incident unfolded, shedding light on the plight of five innocent Oromo youths, Obsi Dinagde, Tasfaye Tarfasa, Iyasu Kasahun, Ababa Dhufera, and Dasalenyi Bulcha. These young individuals have become the latest victims of Ethiopian National Defense Forces. It took us more than a week to investigate into the horrifying incident. Let's delve into the details of these tragic events. Unlawful arrest and accusations. Our investigation reveals that Obsi Dinagde, Tasfaye Bulcha, Iyasu Kasahun, Ababa Dhufera, and Dasalenyi Bulcha were recently apprehended by Ethiopian National Defense Forces in Qilxu Kara town, West Wallaga Zone of Oromia. Despite being civilians, these innocent Oromo youths were accused of supporting the Oromo Liberation Army, also known as OLA, and providing them with material and military support. Inhuman treatment and forced burial. The Ethiopian Defense Forces resorted to extreme measures, subjecting these young individuals to inhuman treatment. Shockingly, Obsi Dinagde, Tasfaye Tarfasa, Iyasu Kasahun, Ababa Dhufera, and Dasalenyi Bulcha were buried alive in a dark underground space that they were forced to dig. The image we have obtained, captured during this horrendous act, portrays the blindfolded youths being buried by the army. It's worth noting that the Oromo members of the army who took these photographs were sympathetic to the youth, but feared for retribution if they were to speak out. Missing and endangered youth. Amid this tragic incident, one of the five youths fell severely ill and was permitted to seek medical care. However, upon completing treatment and returning to his family, he was once again taken from his family's home by the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. The whereabouts of these five youths remain unknown, causing immense distress and concern for the families and the entire Oromo community. When we examine national tragedies where individuals become trapped underground, we witness extensive effort by governments, humanitarian organizations, and news media to rescue those who were in danger. However, in the case of the Ethiopian government, these 5 youths were endangered by the Ethiopian security forces deployed at the order of the Ethiopian federal government and the regional government of Oromia. Of course, the Ethiopian government has been continuously conducting um, crimes on the Oromo civilians. The Oromo civilians have been targeted by the Ethiopian government, Ethiopian federal government. In the last year and early this year, the Ethiopian government conducted several drone strikes on towns, on villages and schools, and killing several hundred Oromo civilians. The Ethiopian government's defense forces have also been previously reported. We have also reported ourselves that they conduct um, serious crimes and they are never held accountable. They always go with impunity. They have burned people alive. They have killed people in mass, and no one has been held accountable. And this is with the knowledge of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, the defense minister, and all those under them, and they have been conducting this without any accountability. And this has reached another different level. Now they have buried people alive, and the people have been buried, and this has been more than a week right now. It happened at the end of June, and so far until today, we have no news of the whereabouts of these 5 youths. And so the Ethiopian government itself, while it's supposed to protect the people and ensure the safety of these youths, is the one that endangers in the case of Ethiopia. And so we have found this very striking difference when we compare the Ethiopian government, the case of the Ethiopian government, and the case of international community, where when people experience tragedies, the government and all humanitarian organizations, global humanitarian organizations, in collaboration, exert maximum effort to ensure the safety of those in danger. In the case of Ethiopian government, the National Defense Forces that were supposed to keep the safety of these people that's endangering the lives of the Oromo youth as in this situation. And Amhara soldiers are incriminated in this situation. They have been the ones that are conducting these heinous crimes in the Oromia state. In the past, we have reported the Fano Amhara terrorists crossing borders into Oromia region and Horoguru Wallaga and East Wallaga Zone and the Northern Shawa zones, and conducting crimes and raids on the Oromo civilians. This has been happening in the last 2 years, more than 2 years right now, and several Oromo civilians have been killed by the Fano Amhara terrorists. This has recently intensified. The Fano Amhara terrorists have supporters in outside Ethiopia, especially the Amhara expatriates living in the United States, in Europe. They provide them with material support and embolden the Fano Amhara terrorists, and also they always fund these anti-Oromo sentiments, and this has penetrated into the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, and the Amhara soldiers in the Ethiopian National Defense Forces are the one that are said to have been conducting these heinous crimes against Oromo youth and Oromo civilians. So reports from military sources indicate the primary perpetrators of these heinous crimes against the innocent Oromo civilians are Amhara soldiers within the Ethiopian Defense Forces. This act raised significant concern about the accountability and the conduct of the armed forces in Ethiopia, and especially the deployment of non-Oromo in the Ethiopian military into the Oromia region, especially when it comes to the Amhara soldiers. They are already known to have this animosity against the Oromo, and when they are deployed by the federal government, they are repeatedly being incriminated. They conduct this kind of heinous crimes, against the unarmed Oromo civilians. So these tragic events unfolding in Oromia demand our immediate attention and action. Obsi Dinagde, Tasfaye Tarfasa, Iyasu Kasahun, Ababa Dhufera, and Dasalenyi Bulcha deserve justice, and their families deserve answers. As a global community, we must not turn a blind eye to such grave injustices. We call upon international organizations, human rights advocates, and governments worldwide to exert maximum pressure on the Ethiopian government to hold accountable those who are committing these horrendous crimes on the Oromo civilians. Um, we ask the international communities, the international governments, and regional human rights organizations such as that of the Africa Union to hold the Ethiopian government accountable and demand answers from the Ethiopian government and Ethiopian government diplomats, embassies who are in your countries. So thank you very much for joining us today. If you want any more news concerning this and other related news, if you want to know why the negotiation between the Ethiopian government, the Oromo Liberation Army that started um, early this year has stuck and has not progressed, and why the fighting is still continuing in Oromia. Um, we can provide an insight to the extent that we have heard and then we know the details of what is going on why the Ethiopian government refused to continue the negotiation. And we can share our views with you. If you have any concern, any question concerning the situation of these five Oromo youths that have been buried alive and still their whereabouts is unknown, we will continue to monitor this situation. We'll continue to search news and try to contact their families, and we'll keep you updated. And if you have any questions, please leave us your comments, subscribe to our channel, and go to our website fnnmedia.org, and you can find our contact information from there. Reach out to us in email, and you can give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to respond to your questions. And if you want any collaboration with us, that's also very welcome. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Daniel Baba, and this is Finfinne News Network. Bye bye.